I've spotted the problem with this speedrun, which is that I'm doing the wrong route. That wasn't even New Game or New Game Plus, that was just me just not doing anything speed. That was like casual playthrough mode, I don't know. What issues everyone has with the Silent Hill HD collection? It runs badly, it's not upscaled very well, sound effects play at the wrong time and at the wrong speed, they redid all the voice acting for Silent Hill 3 and it's not as good anymore, the cutscene timing is off, several visual effects are broken, the game is unstable as all fuck, it crashes a lot. I think that covers pretty much everything in broad terms. It does load faster. It's got that going for it. But yeah, the HD collection has a lot of fucking problems. Silent Hill 3 in particular has a habit of running at the wrong speed. Yeah, I don't play Silent Hill 3 on the HD collection. You'll probably come away with a worse impression than you otherwise would have. Particularly because there is no way to use the old voice acting on the HD collection, and that really hurts the experience, like, a lot. The new cutscenes are just worse. They're just worse. They're not timed as well. The dialogue isn't as well delivered. Several key sound effects and, like, cinematic flourishes, I'm trying to think of words, are missing from the HD collection. Like, there's a depth of field effect in original Silent Hill 3 cutscenes that sort of fade objects in and out of view, as is important to the scene, completely broken on the HD collection. Objects are either, like, too in focus relative to the camera, or not in focus at all. I know this might sound like a minor thing to be like, oh man, so some visual effect, but like, no, it's like really, like, it's the cutscene direction in this game is like very important. A lot of the emotional impact of the scenes is riding on how well it can effectively deliver that. What's the best version? The best version is the PC version, IMO. But the PC version's got a bit of a stability problem because it's an old PC port. It's one of those. So I guess just playing the PS2 version is probably the easiest way to go about it. Get them on PS2 if you can, or emulate them, I guess. I don't actually really know how well Silent Hill 2 or 3 run on PS2 emulator. There must be a fix. Not really. There does not, in fact, must be a fix. Sometimes things just aren't... The thing about Silent Hill 3 is that I'm running the PC version right now. And I don't have particularly, like, severe stability issues, but I've also gotten used to the quirks of it. Cool. Surprisingly on point, considering that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the stat viewer in the bottom left is broken. It's not actually tracking anything properly at the moment. I forgot to reboot it. I mean, whether or not the Silent Hill 2 remake does it any justice is irrelevant. It's still never going to be the best way to play Silent Hill 2. Maybe the remake will be good. It will not be Silent Hill 2, though. Is that a Space Channel 5 outfit? No. I don't think this outfit is, like, anything specific. It's just kind of a broad magical girl joke. The highly specific thing it's taking the piss out of in the actual cutscene that plays when you equip it is Sailor Moon. Since everyone we're touching the story remain unaltered in the remake. The problem with that is that that's wrong. I don't mean to say that, you know, like, no, they definitely said otherwise. I mean, they did say that, but that's impossible. Like, as a basic fact of remaking Silent Hill 2 as a third-person action game, there is no way you can't change the story. Because it turns out a lot of elements of Silent Hill's plot is kind of tied up in its presentation. So that there are going to be necessary adaptational changes to that effect. Play Silent Hill 2. It will not be a good way to play Silent Hill 2 no matter what it is. If you want to play Silent Hill 2, you're going to have to play Silent Hill 2. Maybe new Silent Hill 2 will be good, but it will not be Silent Hill 2. It will be a different game. Like, Resident Evil 2 Remake is not a good way to play Resident Evil 2. If you want to play Resident Evil 2, you still have to play Resident Evil 2. They are functionally completely different games. They are different games with the same name. I always catch a lot of heat when I say some shit like that, but that's how I feel about it. Is like, playing RE2 Remake as a substitute for playing the original RE2 doesn't work. It's like, you haven't experienced Resident Evil 2. You've experienced that. You've experienced the other one. There are two games with the same name now. It's a weird way of going about it, but they're just different games. They're just different games with the same name. I do not care for the fact that they are attempting to, like, replace the original. Because it's just not a, like, it's a completely different game. And you should never get any remakes, since it's not good simply because it's not the original. Correct. Correct. You've got it. You understand. Like, I wasn't saying that, but I agree. Like, that wasn't my point, but I agree. Fuck them. Fuck remakes. I'm sick of replacing everything. Shit's whack. FF7R was good. I thought it was alright. But here's the thing. FF7 Remake doesn't replace FF7, and it's not even trying to. I respect that more. Because, like, FF7 Remake isn't like, you know, oh, we're just gonna pretend that the original doesn't exist. No. If anything, Remake is significantly enhanced by having played the original. Demon's Souls Remake shouldn't exist too? Shouldn't exist. Meaningless. Also, I don't give a single whitting shit about Souls games. You're in the wrong house here. I haven't played Demon's Souls Remake, and I never will. I do not care. I will not agree to disagree. You're fucking wrong. In the streamer's house, we do as the streamer says. But I just don't care for like constant remakes of stuff. Particularly when they try to supplant the original. I'd like ports are fine. I'm okay with that. I mean, in the case of Demon Souls, I guess it was a PS3 game. That's kind of a pain in the ass to play now. But it still struck me as a shallow thing to make. But then again, that's as far as my judgment will go, because I will never actually play it, because I just don't care. I do not give a single shit about Souls games, so I'm just never gonna play it. Also, by the way, can I circle back, actually? I went for the joke answer because I'm being annoying. But I never said that remakes couldn't be good. I'm just saying that they're not good ways to experience the original. Like, Resident Evil 2 Remake is literally not Resident Evil 2. Like, to point where it's in a different genre. Like, my viewpoint isn't, purist, it's ontological. Ah! Whereas something like Dead Space Remake, for whatever the differences between the two are, they're both still at least third-person shooters. Like, they're at least in the same genre. I'm not sure I think Dead Space Remake is good, but then I also am not sure I think Dead Space the original is that good either. I was always more of a Dead Space 2 person. Although I will say as well, I also don't like Resident Evil 2 Remake, like, at all. Like, that's the other thing, is that, like, I get to argue from both positions because I also don't think Resident Evil 2 Remake is, like, any good. I did not enjoy that game. Thing is, right, because, so I'm an aggressive note-taker when I play games. So, like, I actually went back and I read what I wrote about the original Dead Space after I finished the remake, and the thoughts were pretty similar. I was like, ah. So, like, me not getting along with Dead Space Remake that much is like, well, I didn't get on with Dead Space the original that much either. Reading my notes back, I was like, huh. I had a lot of the same complaints. Take a lot of notes, or I growl while taking them? A lot of notes. What I don't like about Dead Space? It's hard to put a fine point on precisely. Remake in particular, I thought the audio balancing was just really bad. Like, I could never hear anything properly. I could never hear enemies. This seems to be a remake exclusive problem. I'm not sure what the hell, because that's not in my notes for the original, and it definitely would have been. But, Dead Space 1 has an issue of just weirdly, like, set pieces that don't work very well. Like, Dead Space the original has, like, the kind of shitty turret segment that sucks. The remake replaces it with a much better set piece. I'll give the remake credit for that. The remake's version of that is significantly improved, because it integrates it back into the core gameplay mechanics. Ooh! See, there's an example of the refusal to break continuity being used for good. But, one of my other complaints that is in my notes for both is that I think Dead Space just has kind of a bad plot. I think it's got kind of a shitty story. No one seems to talk about this very much, but, like, it's very much just there, you know? Like, I never know what the hell anyone is talking about when playing Dead Space. I finished all of Dead Space 2, and I can't recall a single goddamn thing about the story of that game. Like, does anyone have any fucking idea? Like, dude, pick up the rope, bro. Like, people are dying, you gotta fix more and more shit on the ship. Dead Space 1 is like just this endless string of fixing broken shit as well. It never feels like it escalates, you know? It's just, we're fixing a broken thing. It's like, oh, other thing is broken. It's like, oh, Isaac, can you go fix the other broken thing that broke while you were fixing the broken thing? It's like, can we get some form of progression, please, that doesn't involve fixing more broken shit? Dead Space replies, no. You are fixing broken shit right the way through to the end of that game. Like, it never feels like it reaches a point of intrigue, you know? Yeah, that's the thing. There's not much to the plot, and I think that's kind of, I don't know, lame? Like, the plot's very stock. It's very easy to understand the full gist of it from pretty early on. People find the magic stone. Being near the rock makes you go crazy, and that's it. Like, that's straight lemon with no twist. Needs more zest. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no sort of like anything there. Like, what is? Okay, so let's put a finer point on it. What is Dead Space about? The one thing I didn't get was the fucking ampule. That sucks. It's the only thing I wanted. It's the only thing I didn't pick up. Like, what is Dead Space about? Like, what is the message of Dead Space? Because I didn't really get one. I don't think Dead Space is about anything. Doom isn't about anything, but Doom also doesn't make me listen to people talk for 3 hours. That's the thing. Doom isn't about anything, but Doom doesn't have a lot of dialogue. You don't have to be about something, but if you're gonna make me listen to characters talk for a while, you better be about something. There's not that much talking Dead Space. I fucking guarantee you there is. Do not make me time it. I fucking will. There is a lot of dialogue in Dead Space. The game will lock you in a room while those motherfuckers are talking. I also literally just finished it. There is definitely a lot of dialogue. It will lock you in a room while they're talking. You do not get to play while the people are speaking. There is a shit ton of fucking dialogue in that game. Like, it's not like the fucking Last of Us tier or anything, but it's enough that I expect to get something out of the narrative, and I just don't. I don't get anything out of Dead Space's plot. It's really stock. Oh, this fucking pattern is so whack. You just do the dialogue skip. Never heard of it. Ugh! But like, I would like to compare and contrast with you BioShock, for instance, just as like an example here. BioShock is, by contrast, very clearly about something. It is about the failure of a political system. It is about how objectivism doesn't work. Also, yes, it is quite clearly ripping off Ayn Rand. That's not the point, though. It's about something. Like, that's like the bare minimum here. Oh, that was bad. I couldn't fucking hit the shot. Ah! Dead Space also belong to Church Bad, Kill God family? Kind of, yeah. Well, I'm not saying Bioshock has, like, the most complicated and deep message of any video game ever, but I am saying it is, like, about something. It is about a thing. It's about a concept. It's about... It has a message. It has themes explored by way of the gameplay. I do not think Dead Space has that going for it. And by contrast, the amount of time you spend listening to people talk in that game, it kind of feels like it thinks it does have one. And it don't. And that bothers... This is both remake and original. I've never gotten much out of Dead Space's plot. Like, this is not a remake exclusive complaint. It's not like, oh man, they really fucked up the story in there. It was like, no, there just wasn't much to go on there to begin with. Dead Space sounds like most Final Fantasy games in some ways as church bad, kill God. But Final Fantasy X, right, is also church bad, kill God. But it, like, really goes somewhere with that. It's about, like, how people process grief and trauma and dealing with loss. I know dealing with loss is a funny phrase on the internet. But it is, like, it's about that. It's also about how the church is all dead guys, which is very funny. Like, pretty much all FF games. I mean, kind of. 10-2 isn't about church bad. It's still about dealing with loss, though. Like, that's the running through line of the 10 games. Yeah, it's the creepypasta lore wiki building family of rank, which I've never gotten much out of because I like to actually get a feel for things through gameplay. I don't read the wiki. X2 is loss. Yeah, I mean, Yuna spends a lot of time introspecting about how much she misses Titus. Fuck. And I'm the guy who cares about how that's pronounced. It's definitely pronounced Titus. I want to throw that out at you. It's definitely Titus. I get it wrong too, but it's definitely Titus. If I actually say his name in the game. They have at multiple points in a variety of spin-off material. And also, it's Titus per the Japanese. I think it's based on an Okinawan word. But don't quote me on that. Two, 8, 4, 1, woo! But regardless, right, those games are about stuff. I like it when games are about stuff. I'm someone who, like, specializes in video games as, like, a narrative medium. I like when game tells a story. Particularly through the medium of gameplay. And for what it's worth, this isn't me saying Dead Space is, like, awful garbage, either. I just think it's okay. I feel like I should clarify this as well. It's like, I think Dead Space Remake and Dead Space the original are okay. Like, 7 out of 10. It's fine. I think they have good core, combat mechanics, at least. Like, cut off the limb. Ooh, cut off this enemy has a bomb for an arm. Cut off the bomb. Pick up bomb. Throw. Boom. It's like, there's like, good core combat mechanics. Like, it checks out. The game design is good. I think that, like, that's why I like Dead Space 2 more, even though I can't remember anything about the plot. Because it does more with the combat. And, like, Dead Space's core combat mechanics are good and were worth expanding on, and they did in 2, which is good. I enjoyed that game a lot more as a result. It felt better to play. Do you have a speedrun in my dreams? I speedrun my dreams all the time, so I get no fucking sleep! God! -5! Direct tomorrow? What kind of Nintendo Direct? This is important. Like one of the indie ones, or is it like one of the major, like, just Nintendo ones, or is it like a game-specific kind of deal? You can have a real bad time to play Silent Hill HD Collection. They're not... The HD Collection is not very good, Coleslaw. It's not great. I wouldn't recommend it. Like, at any price, it's just... You'll get a... It's a weaker experience. 2023 games from Nintendo. Could be games. For as much as I'm not really into a lot of first-party Nintendo stuff, I do tend to like the Directs, because they post games. It's like, Nintendo just rocks up and is like, here are the video games coming out next year, would you like to buy them? And it's like, okay, I can go with that. It's like, we would like to show you our video games. I would like to hear about your video games. Don't know how many of them I'm gonna, like, play. If I choose between Silent Hill 2 and 3, which would I get? I mean, Silent Hill 1, they're numbered for a reason. I know that's, like, kind of a mathematician's answer, but they are, like, they're a set. Like, 3 benefits from playing 1, and in fact, I'd argue 2 benefits from playing 1. I'd argue they both benefit from playing 1. The one looks like it came out on the Atari. Bruh, you ain't played an actual Atari game. You get 3 pixels on the Atari. Sverna, thanks for the 17 months. Look, playing Silent Hill 1 is worth the effort. Get yourself a PS1 emulator. Like, this is very easy as well. Get yourself a PS1 emulator, go download DuckStation, play Silent Hill 1. Like, they're numbered for a reason. It does benefit you to go in order. Wow, -13. The run has pace. Streamer can't explicitly say it, so I'll say it. Pirate it. I mean, I can say it. Pirate Silent Hill 1. Just do it. don't do... I mean, it's actually like $10 on PSN, actually. You might not need to. Do you got PS3? Because that'll work. Get it on PSN? Yeah, it's still on the North American PSN, I'm pretty sure. If you have a PS3. If you have a PS3 or a Vita, Silent Hill 1 is still on the North American PSN. Or Japanese, if you're that way inclined. But not Europe! Fuck you! Didn't the PS3 PSN go shut down last year? No. It's still up. Can you get Silent Hill 2 and 3 on PSN? No. You can get Silent Hill 4. But you cannot get 2 and 3. Also, Silent Hill 4 is best played via the PC version made available on Good Old Games instead, GOG. GOG doesn't have 2 and 3. But play Silent Hill 1. Seriously, it's worth it. The 3 games form a thematic trilogy. Each game replies to the ideas and concepts laid down by the first. By the preceding one. Hence, it is worth playing the full set in order. They are numbered for a reason. Isn't the SH2 port abandonware? No. Okay, so, like, I'm gonna hit you with the legal reality, which is that abandonware isn't real. Like, that's not an like, abandonware isn't a legal term that exists. It's just a thing gamers latch onto for, like, unsupported and abandoned software that probably no one's gonna serve you a legal notice for continuing to distribute, but it's not, like, a real copyright term. Like, rather obnoxiously, if you don't sell a PC port, you don't gain the right to distribute it for free. That's not how That's not how our society works. You could argue that is how it should work, but it's not how it works. Like, the fact that Konami hasn't legally made Silent Hill 2 and 3 PC available anywhere for decades does not automatically mean that you have the right to download it for free. They still very much have the copyright on it. Now, for what it's worth, I do think that's ridiculous, but I'm just saying. Like, abandonware isn't real. That's not actually a legal framework. This being said, I'm hardly going to judge you if you download the abandoned PC port of an old video game that no one sells anymore. Related thing, by the way, this is like somewhat on the topic, somewhat off the topic. It's fucking crazy to me that you can't get Lemmings anymore. Like, Lemmings. Like, you know, the PC game. There's no... no one sells Lemmings. No one sells the original Lemmings in, like, an acceptable format. You can get the MS-DOS version if you want off websites.
I'm so sorry. This place is just falling apart. The mechanism
But
is
no one, like, will sell it to you in, like, a well-preserved... Like, what? Like, how? How is, of all the games to have somehow, like, slipped through the net, how... Lemmings? What? What do you mean?
But it seems that no one wants you to leave. Everyone really likes you. They want you to stay.
What's Lemmings? I'm not even gonna fucking answer that. It's an old PC game. But it's like the PC game. It's like, come on. Okay, Lemmings is that game where you have to direct a bunch of short blue shirt wearing green haired dudes to the finish line. It's like a puzzle kind of game. They move, and they'll move automatically, and you give them all tools, you click on them, and they'll like dig a hole through a wall or build a bridge or something. It was extremely popular. It's like, again, when I say it's like one of the PC games, it was one of the PC games. It's one of like PC's defining games back in the day. It was like the thing that you PC'd for. But you can't buy it anymore, which is absolutely crazy to me. Of all the games, it's like if you couldn't get Tetris on anything. Like, it was that caliber of popular for a while. You was convinced they were in GOG. I was as well. I was also like, oh, you know, they must be on GOG somewhere. But no, they're not. There's no Lemmings. Where the fuck is Lemmings? Where are the Lemmings, man? Like, we're all old here. So... The absolute state of abandonment. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy to me that that's the case. You know what says the guy in his mid-20s? Yeah, but like, I've been gaming for all my life, so... I know, I'm not old. That's the thing, I'm not old. And yet. This run has good pace, which is unfortunate, because we're going into the part of the run where you can just randomly lose 16,000 years for no obvious reason. Nice to know that I can have this kind of pace, though. I didn't really know how much time save I had in this run, because I didn't really know what my splits were. Yeah, being like in your mid-20s as a gamer is enough to have experienced most of the history of home consoles. Gaming is a young medium. No, auto aim! Oh my god, stop. Lemmings was the PC game in Europe and the UK. Was it also the PC game in the NA? I have no idea. I do know that, like, game preservation is very North American bias, because if it were not, people would hail the Creatures games as classics. I mean, are they not? Most Americans have never ever heard of Creatures. They do not know what it is like to raise the norms. Pass. Alright, no more bushing with chat. I actually have to concentrate now. The run is, like, on. It's fucked up that this is how late the run has to be before I start taking it seriously. Yikes. Yeah, the Creatures games are actually remarkably well preserved. You can get all of them on GOG. Like, including the fucked up spin-off Creatures Playground. Which, lol, Creatures Playground. Bleh. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Very nice. This run is marred by Lemmings Talk and Remake Talk. I don't think it's marred, I think it's enhanced. That is world record, by the way. That is world record in extra new game, no quick save, quick load by 3 seconds. That's why I shit the bed when I actually got the second wall. I got the 1 in 3. Those of you who don't know, those rooms where I was walking into them, quick turning and then leaving twice. That only has a 1 in 3 chance of working. So when I hit the second one, I was like, oh shit, this is happening.